I ultimately got my boss fired, made her company pay me $50,000, and for the past 20 years, I've been exacting my revenge. It all started when my old friend, a CEO, headhunted me to save his new company. The company was bleeding out. They hadn't made a single sale in 2 years. Their first year, the product was still in beta. Their second year, they made the catastrophic mistake of having tech staff try to sell to C-level executives. It was a disaster. Tech people speak in code, and buyers speak in benefits. I'm the person who bridges that gap, translating tech speak into real-world solutions. The job was a 3-hour round trip, so the CEO agreed I could work from home as long as I kept my sales reports updated. But just before I was ready to launch my sales plan, he hired a new VP of sales. Let's call her Bitch Boss. She came from banking and knew absolutely nothing about tech. She was brought on to attract investors, but from day one, I knew she was going to be a problem. Still, I pushed forward. I spent 19 days on the road and came back with 17 contracts, totaling $2 million in sales. My CEO was ecstatic. Sales were booming. Then, Bitch Boss landed a big fish, an investor willing to drop $6 million into the company. They wanted to meet me, the star salesperson. Seconds before we walked into the meeting, Bitch Boss pulled me aside. She told me she had doubled my sales numbers on the prospectus and needed me to lie for her. She claimed the CEO had approved it. I refused. Inside the meeting, the investor looked at the inflated numbers, then looked directly at me and asked how many sales I was making per month. Behind him, Bitch Boss was frantically waving her arms, but I answered truthfully. The room went completely silent. Thinking fast, I asked to see the document. I pointed to the numbers and said it looked like the first 2 digits had been accidentally transposed, a lucky coincidence that made the lie seem like a typo. The investor bought it, and the meeting moved on. But the peace didn't last. A week later, the CIO, another one of my bosses, referred to my big tits in a meeting. I was stunned. That night, I casually mentioned it to my best friend, who happens to be a lawyer. He said any good CEO would want to know about it. So I decided to follow protocol and report it to Bitch Boss. This reveals the company's greatest fatal flaw, their inability to handle a simple HR issue professionally, which ultimately sealed their fate. As one commenter on my story later pointed out, they could have so easily nipped this in the bud by just handling the comment quickly, but they didn't. The CEO called me, and I calmly explained what happened, stressing that I wasn't angry. I just wanted him to talk to the CIO. 2 days later, he still hadn't done it because the investors were in town. I gently pushed him, mentioning that my lawyer friend was the one who urged me to report it. He heard only one word, lawyer. In that moment, our years of friendship evaporated. He went absolutely ballistic. I tried to calm him down, explaining I hadn't hired an attorney, but it was too late. The next day, I got a call from a lawyer the company had hired regarding my sexual harassment claim. I told her I hadn't made a claim, but she insisted I had. And that's when they declared war. The CEO was furious, and his anger poisoned the entire company. Bitch Boss made it her personal mission to destroy me. She forgot to tell me about critical meetings, froze me out, and blocked me from speaking with the CIO, even though his input was essential for my work. Then, things got worse. I developed a serious health problem that required surgery. Bitch Boss seized the opportunity, revoking my work-from-home arrangement, demanding I make the 3-hour commute daily. Despite my illness, I couldn't just quit. I desperately needed my health insurance for the upcoming operation. My doctor wrote a note, and legally, they couldn't force me to commute since working from home was in my contract. Bitch Boss made her next move with chilling cruelty. The night before my surgery, she called to inform me they had canceled my health insurance. I was so sick and stressed, I literally collapsed on the floor. It was a profoundly illegal act. The company's own lawyer chewed out the CEO, and my insurance was immediately reinstated. While I was on medical leave, my mom found me a lawyer. It turned out that everything they were doing, the constant harassment, the isolation, the attempts to sabotage my job, was illegal retaliation. My new lawyer said I had an excellent case and told me to continue working there while he filed a claim with the EEOC, the government agency that handles workplace discrimination. When I returned, the company had moved. Bitch Boss forgot to tell me the new address, then gave me the wrong directions so I'd be late on my first day back. My new desk was placed in the middle of a wide-open area, directly in front of the CEO's glass office, like a zoo exhibit. They took away my sales duties. I was forbidden from doing any work at all. Bitch boss had spread lies. And my new colleagues treated me like a leper. With nothing else to do, I followed my lawyer's advice. I documented everything. Bitch boss started writing me up for absurd things, not answering my phone on the first ring, asking questions in meetings. Each time, I had to sign the write-up, and in the response section, I simply wrote, "I do not agree with this assessment." This drove her into a rage. She even wrote me up for writing that I didn't agree with her. She would scream at me, her face inches from mine, but I refused to engage. I just sat there calmly, which made her even more apoplectic. She hated my notebook, knowing exactly what I was doing. I had to carry my purse with me everywhere after I caught her going through my desk. Finally, my attorney had enough evidence. I could resign immediately. I typed a one-sentence letter, "I resign immediately," handed it to the HR guy, gave him a sweet-as-pie smile, and walked out forever. Now for the payoff moment. 1 month later, we were at the EEOC office, me, my lawyer, the CEO, bitch boss, and their lawyer. In my state, the EEOC first evaluates claims before issuing a right to sue. My lawyer spent 40 minutes laying out a mountain of evidence. Then, their side presented their case, my supposed poor performance, backed by the stack of write-ups from bitch boss. She sat there with a smug, self-satisfied smile as she stated that all the write-ups were dated. Before I ever made my complaint, she had backdated them to create a false narrative. This was her fatal, foolish mistake, born from an arrogance that blinded her to the possibility that she could be caught. The EEOC official looked at my lawyer looked at me, I looked at bitch boss. Then, I serenely pulled out my own photocopies of every single write-up. Bitch boss panicked, barking, "She's not supposed to have those." You see, every time she wrote me up, I had to walk it to the CEO's office. Along the way, I made a quick stop at the copy machine. My copies showed the real dates. Hers had been altered. You could have heard a pin drop. The EEOC official examined the documents, then spoke words I will never forget. "I have seen a lot of ill treatment," she said, "but I have never seen someone so incredibly stupid to present documents this easily disproved. It's obvious you are trying to manufacture your case." She told them I had a clear case for a lawsuit and that I would win. She sent them into another room to figure out a settlement. I could hear their lawyer tearing them apart, shouting words like "lied to me," "lied to the EEOC," and "broke so many laws." They came back and offered $50. We accepted. As we left, I saw bitch boss in the window, crying. She had just been fired, and in a final twist of karma, the investor she lied to, he pulled out of the deal. Without me, the sales dried up, and the company faltered for years. But that was only year 1 of my revenge. For bitch boss, I nurtured a special kind of hatred. She started her own marketing company, and I've spent the last 18 years executing a soul-refreshing project. Each year, I go to her company website, scrape all the employee email addresses and phone numbers, and subscribe them to the most aggressive, spammy services imaginable. For the last few years, I've used an email bomb service that instantly signs them up for thousands of newsletters, flooding their inboxes to the point that the email addresses become completely unusable. Every year, I go back to the site and see a fresh list of brand new email addresses. The best part? My cousin recently got a job in the same building and befriended a receptionist there. The receptionist told her the whole company is in chaos every year because it keeps happening over and over and nobody can figure out why. Bitch boss has had to change her own cell phone number 3 times. They even lost a mega client who thought the company was in too much turmoil. This story is a masterclass in why you should always document everything and use a company's own rules against them. The initial injustice was bad, but the retaliation was what gave me all the power. What do you think is the best way to get back at a terrible boss? Let me know your own stories in the comments.